Patterson. We are at the 13th annual St. Louis Prototype Modelers Meet. I'm doing an outdoor photo shoot. We're going to talk about this table saw. That's absolutely magnificent. This is the best hobby in the world.
What's neat?
What's neat?
What's neat?
What's neat starts now.
Catch the What's Neat podcast every week and full episodes of What's Neat every month at the Model Railroad Hobbyist YouTube page.
Want to check sound levels?
No.
No? We're just going to wing this one?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be really hot and somebody's going to be really quiet.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey.
Okay, we have good sound.
All right.
Tight camera angles. I can't wait to run camera one day. Do I look okay?
Oh, you look fabulous.
Yes.
Test it. Okay. Okay, guys. Let's have some fun tonight. This will be very interesting that we're going to try something new.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we even start on this one?
For the countdown?
Yeah, that would probably help, yes.
Okay, awesome. Ready, set, go. And give us a countdown.
You ready? 3, 2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you.
These are anyway.
And by Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com.
Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com.
Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show in model railroading, show number 281 for July 13th, 2024. I'm your host, Ken Patterson, the host of the What's Neat show at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine. And yes, the August video is almost completed. Joey Gento does an interview in that video. And I think I'm going to run a segment on finishing up that scene that I built back in January, the warehouse scene with all the vehicles on it. Mm-hmm. I showed how I laid the track and all that previously. I've got continuation footage of that. And of course, we'll have the Bachman interview. Of course, this month is the RPM meet this month in 5 days or 6 days.
Yep. Coming
Up
fast.
quick.
Okay, sitting on the podcast crew with me tonight, I've got Richard. Hi, Richard.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, everybody?
And on the other side of me, I've got my favorite Steve.
Hello. I'm glad to be here.
And so we've got a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, and we're going to try something a little bit different tonight in that we are going to run the video clips live so that we can look at them as we describe some of the little projects that have been going on. I do want to say that you guys are familiar with some of these freight cars on the table, the A.C.R. boxcar. Unarguably is one of the most modeled freight cars, and I back in the 80s, I actually built one of these off of the photographs, using the books, and there was a lot of great books out there. I know Pat Wider and Hawkins did a bunch of books, and they included these freight cars. Okay, A.C.R. boxcar. I focused on the Union Pacific. And again, I utilized many, many books to do so, to create what I thought in 1988 was the best I could do. And this was at the time when metal roof walks were a new thing, and all the individual stirrups and things that we would go to, the decals to get the color of the paint right, to weather it. I've got some on the table from Rapido. And in my opinion, these are brand new this year. And I was excited to learn about these. I'm going to photograph these outside so we can really appreciate what they look like. And I probably already showed you pictures of the model I originally built. But these are gorgeous. The color is dead on as far as I know, according to the books. And I've got the boxes they came in. So I'm going to start with the Union Pacific B5039 A.C.R. boxcar. This is the way it was delivered. Car number 197027. The next one I want to talk about is a B50-41. Okay, that's different from the previous one, and that was the amazing thing, is there were so many different variations of these cars. Okay, this is the delivery paint scheme as well. Car number 101618. Okay, and the last one I've got is, this is the repaint, the 1956 repaint. This is a B5039. Again, A.C.R. boxcar is the way it's written on the box here. Car number 197835. Absolutely beautiful models. A great addition on the layout down here. And I'm probably going to run this train for the RPM show when the folks are over here and we're shooting that show. Hats off to Rapido. Good job. The paintwork is exquisite.
Very nice. Yes, that is.
Also on the table tonight, we've got two of the C&O locomotives. From Broadway Limited. This is a K2 locomotive built around 1924. These were retired by 1950, so when I was putting together the consist of cars to run with the locomotives, I made sure the dates was all correct, so there wasn't any 1965 cars running in the consist, which is super simple to do if you're not paying attention. The difference between these two locomotives, the first one we've had on the show before, the Chesapeake and Ohio, 1168, and it's got the longer tender on it, the 16,000 gallon tender. The other locomotive, which is a recent one that I picked up this week, same beautiful locomotive, except for this has got the 12,000 gallon tender on it. And it was just, it's exquisite. It's neat to have the different variations. This is nothing new to Broadway Limited. When I purchased the Pennsylvania locomotives up here, the decapods that are on the shelf right behind Richard, they came with the short and the long tender. So they've been doing that type of variation for years. It's awesome, and it's an excuse to buy two because I love double-heading everything because it ensures that everything runs perfect. By the way, the single one with the 16-gallon tender, I've been running it for the last week down here before this other one showed up. And it was able to pull the full consist of cars with no worries. It's got like a current keeper in it, a capacitor in it, so it continues to run if it hits a dead spot, which is a blessing. Yeah, I know, right? So, Steve, we looked at a video clip of this thing running tonight. Mm-hmm. And when it's delivered, Broadway Limited's got the smoke units turned on. There's a switch underneath the cab so you can turn the smoke unit off, and that's how I usually always run them down here. Because if you run a locomotive around here twice smoking, it'll gag you out of the room.
Yes, I'm sure of that.
It will.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to clip 170 on this computer here. And I think I've got the right glasses on. And this is how we're going to do this tonight. It should make the edit easier if it works. And here's the locomotive. I put it on the track, right? Mm-hmm, and it immediately started to smoke. So I went ahead and pulled out the video camera and shot this footage of it running. And this is the scene that I'm going to run in What's Neat, I think, for the month of August, is that diorama that you're looking at, how that got up to that point. But check this out. Just an absolutely exquisite model, and I'm very impressed with that.
It is very impressive. And yeah, a few times around, the smoke would be.
It put out a lot of smoke. Mm-hmm. Upon shooting this video, I pulled it off. I flipped the switch underneath the cab, and I've been running them double-headed now for 2 days. The last day, which was yesterday, I don't know if my days are, I stayed awake for 28 hours straight. So I could work myself back into a day schedule for this week, because the first people to show up here Thursday, I believe Roca Models is coming here Thursday at 11. We're doing a photo shoot of a new product that he's announcing at the RPM meet, and he needs visuals to create his ads. We have a new boxcar. That's not it. These are the older What's Neat boxcars. And we have a new one that's coming out. And I'm going to show you a picture of it right now. You guys saw it tonight?
Yes, we saw the picture, yes.
I love the way this came out. The best-selling car we had was the black What's Neat This Week car. It was the most popular, and so this one's in black as well. with the Gateway Arch, the city of St. Louis. What's neat this week? Reporting marks WNTW 2024. Another cool thing about all of these different boxcars, and I know this wasn't in the rehearsal, but we've got so many different variations of these cars. And what's even more cool is they've all got the dates on them. So 2018, when he made that one, 2019. So for the folks out there, this one, Denny Yelsma put on a jacket on the back of one of my jackets. I probably have shown that on the show. This one's got the date on it of 2020. So that would be our like COVID car. I know, what an analogy. There's more. I want to grab the other two. It's not rehearsed, but we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You can go ahead and play elevator music.
It would be important to collect all the cars.
What's the date on that one?
Hold on, I've got to get my glasses now. That's 2021.
Okay,
Red,
that's
white,
the
and blue.
Is that like the bicentennial? And then there's this gold one. What's the date on that one? I got the wrong glasses on too.
2019.
Okay, 2019.
Oh, you got 2019 right here.
So wow, cool. So anybody out there collecting those would know about those. I think it's cool. Thank you very much, Derek Sampson out there.
Did you say when they were coming out yet?
I hopefully will have those in our possession in the next, possibly before the RPM meet. And that would be beneficial because I think the November ad that we are going to run in the model press will have those new cars on it. The first ad that we're running is going to come out next month, September, and it's beautiful. But more on that, I'll talk about that later in the show. I'm not prepared for that tonight. Richard, I know you're getting ready to go off to where?
Leadville.
Now, how many weeks?
2.
Okay, and you're all loaded up on film and all your videotapes so that you can document everything.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about this passion. Tell us more about that.
I probably spoke about it so much, if you are tired of it. But hopefully, after this trip, I'll actually have something physically to show as far as model building. But last weekend, I was on Google Earth, and I was actually able to see from the satellite photos the old railroad grade.
Right.
And it was very, very apparent. And I went to refer to it, that map that I had on the show, and I could actually see where the railroad grade ran. So what I'm thinking about doing is actually shooting that area and trying to build that area. But the problem is it's not an area I'm going to be wanted to model. So maybe just mix it in a little, where I could have it something that actually looks like it.
Okay, I got a question. This layout you're going to build, this is obviously is going to be in your new home now. That it's not new anymore. You've been there for almost 2 years, right?
Yeah, 2.5 years.
What size space are you going to dedicate to this? Are you going to finish out the room? Have you already started working on the room?
No, the room's all finished out.
Okay,
It's
all right.
just waiting for the trains. The space that I have is roughly, it's 20 feet by 27 feet. One side of the basement is 32 feet long. But I'm actually thinking of either double decking it or triple decking it,
Oh, wow.
but not with a helix. The way it is I
You
really
want grades.
Yeah, I really don't have a room for a helix, but I want to try and shove in as much railroad as I possibly can in that space without, overcrowding. I don't want to, make it big and then make it wide. So I'm thinking about the widest I might make it is 2.5, 3 feet. Obviously, an area that I don't really have to worry about reaching into would be more scenery. So
What season? What year? What season?
it's not going to have a year.
Okay.
It's so I could run anything.
It's my kind of layout.
Yeah, really. Just
So I could run anything.
whatever.
But I'm not going to have all my locomotives programmed to 3 like you do.
It's okay. Some of them are different, so I can actually run 2 trains at the same time. It's okay.
Yeah, everyone can have their own vision
Right.
of what they want their train, the
But
train
I
layout
did
to be and
learn
all that.
something.
Yes.
A couple of shows, a lot of shows, I said, it's, standard gauge didn't run in mining districts. And then Mike made a comment, well, in your world it can. While I was looking up on Google Maps and I was doing a little reading, I didn't realize this. The Denver and Rio Grande had standard gauge going all the way up to the Ibex mine, which was at an altitude over 11,000 feet.
Wow.
Most of it was narrow gauge, but the Denver and Rio Grande actually had a line that went up to the Ibex mine that was standard gauge.
They could appreciate that because it could haul more tonnage too.
I see.
All right, I saw you brought some models tonight. Evidently, you've been buying some trains. I saw you brought it on Facebook. I saw a large G-scale collection, Steve Mantia.
Yes, it was. Glenda was very happy that we got that because Glenda really likes the G-scale, especially because of the size and all this stuff that way. And as always, it was a nice little story of a woman had drove down the road a number of times, had seen the sign. Unfortunately, her husband had passed away, and it had taken her a few years to decide what she wanted to do with it. So she gave us a call, and then went out and picked up the collection, that standpoint. And it was a lot of, everything always has a certain grade to it, but it was a lot more G-scale than I had ever picked up really before in one collection.
It was predominantly G-scale?
It was all G-scale,
Oh, okay.
G-scale track, and almost every car that she had a story with it because they had it set up, of course, outside, which you've been talking about with your layout and that, and they would always have it run, and at the holiday time, more of the neighbor kids and things like that would come over at Christmas, and they would try to do a little more with Santa and all the things that way, and have the little lights on it. So he made some of his own cars. This one, the flat car with the tractor on it, I thought was a nice one. But then again, you had just the.
Is that Toby?
This is
That's
Toby.
Toby.
How did I know that?
I had to make sure because I know the tooth that matching the Clarabelle or the other ones that you
Right.
got there. So.
We know, right? Oh, all this stuff is clean, by the way.
Yes, yes, the basement looks nice.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. Oh, Lord.
So the most of the collection is in the living room of the train house, and been unpacking it and doing that standpoint. I haven't had a chance to test anything or run it that way, but right now it's just in the stage of the very nice pictures and see what we have that standpoint.
Okay. How do you want to approach this?
No.
This is cool.
This is good.
I know. I don't know what the camera angles are. Am I shooting B-roll? Check this out on camera number 2.
I guess how extensive.
This is okay, straight up. This is for G-scale.
This is an easy bend duo track rail bender for G-scale.
This is commercially available.
Yes.
www.train.li.
That's what we were trying to figure out.
Yeah.
LI-USA, the old paperwork. So I don't know how old.
I think this has been imported because I see German written on
Probably
here. German
that would
language.
make sense.
So what this is really interesting. When I bent the rail outside on the Garden Railroad, I used code 250 microengineering rail that are 6-foot links. And when you lay it all out, the curves and everything needs to be pre-bent. This is not flex track. You can't take a piece of microengineering track. I mean, you could and flex it, but as soon as the sun hits it, she'll straighten right up again. So even the slightest curve, and the whole backyard has a gentle curve to it. I ran the pieces, one piece of rail at a time, all 800 feet of rail through this little gizmo that the guys at Microengineering scratch built. They took some blocks of steel, they built it so the bottom flange and the top flange of the rail would go all the way through it. You tighten it up to any degree you want. It's calibrated, it's marked, and it's actually a precision tool to bend rail. And that's what this is, except for the difference is this is made to bend completely finished track. You got a piece over there.
Yeah, brought a piece of the stainless track.
Okay.
That
So this would roll onto the tops of the rail, not the bottoms, just the tops, with these 6 rollers, and you would bend 2 pieces of rail at the same time, which in theory would bend the entire piece of track. And the only problem I see is that when you're turning radiuses, depending upon how far you bend it, you're going to be cutting your rail because the outside rail is going to get longer. No, the inside rail is going to get longer, the outside rail becomes shorter.
yes.
Correct. But what an ingenious little device. I don't know why there's leveling sights on it because I think that's absolutely irrelevant. What you want to do is get the angle of the bend correct. And this would facilitate that on finished track, I guess.
Yeah,
Were the
this-
instructions in English or German?
No, this is all. It's all in English. There was a Axel Tillman. There was a phone number from in Massachusetts. Again, I don't know how old this is in that.
Now, did you get this with the
It
collection?
was
you
all
just
part of the
bought?
collection because there was just a lot of boxes. I mean, it's not so much just the track and the cars and the locomotives you get, but it's boxes of parts and all the little things that he had picked up. You can really tell that, like all of us, he was really, this meant a lot to him and gave him something to do. And he worked on the different things, put different sets of trucks in there, different wheels, and
So
you could
nothing.
really
There's a lot of stuff that's not stock anymore. It was
right.
all
Yes.
upgraded.
Upgraded, and just the amount of parts that you have out there. I usually have different levels of trains that you pick up. You know, whether it's the Bachmann or LGB. A lot of this was the Aristocrat, and then some of it was a couple pieces were USA trains. So it was a nice mixture that we had. But like I said, and when I was getting the locomotives out, and they're a good 3 foot long, Glenda loves the G scale, just so you can see everything, and it stands out, and especially the passenger cars. They have some the Santa Fe silver passenger cars that really
Those were pretty.
those are very nice. Yes. So it just
You need
new
to bring that
things
stuff
come up.
over here and test it.
Oh,
When,
yes,
when the Garden Railroad
when the
runs.
Garden Railroad in the backyard gets all set up, yes, I'll have a perfect place to bring them. I can't wait.
Okay, we're going to talk about the Garden Railroad. We have 2 clips tonight. Daniel was here. He got chewed up by mosquitoes. They started getting really bad last night here. I don't know why all of a sudden they were scheduled to show up last night. But the dive bombers showed up. And, I mean, it was relentless. He went home because he got bit up so much. We didn't have any off. I'm going to run the clip. Let's see how this works. Here's Daniel out there. I don't know what he's doing, but he's replaced almost all of the ties on the Garden Railroad. Yeah, he wanted a weed eater tonight, but it was getting too dark out there. All of the gullies have been dug out. We're replacing the wooden 2x4 bridges all along, but all of the dirt has been dug out. The bridge has not been rebuilt yet. That's still, we're running out of time.
It's still in the works.
Correct. Let's go to clip number 2. It's more streamlined when I just write this down in notes and we just hustle through this. You can see it up there on that TV. So yeah, all it has to be done is the dirt dug out and the stones moved further apart so both main lines are clear. If I just put the track close together, we could run one train through there, it'll be fine. Everything's been dug out. I hauled 6 or 8 cartloads of dirt out. All the water drainage is now intact the way it's supposed to be. I used a garden hose to flush out everything. Planted grass seed on that hill. It's not going to grow in time for the show. So all we got to do really is reassemble the track and put a new coat of green on that deck. It would look dynamite with that green on it.
Yes, it would.
I didn't show the picnic table. I don't have to, but it's done. That beautiful shiny thing I showed a
it
couple
looks
weeks
very
ago.
nice.
It's beautiful.
It's the first thing I saw when I came down the hill.
And this did look beautiful like that, but right now solid green on it. It's not slippery, it's bulletproof. So just relay the track and I think we're good to go. Besides, I think we're going to be running just regular battery operated train on this, not DC. Because people just want to look at the river when they come here anyway. They don't really, maybe they don't care about the train. So that's that clip, and I don't know how this is going to work on the edit, but so far so good. Now, as you can see, this place looks very different.
Clean.
It's very clean, spotless.
It looks like it did possibly back in January when I started, and I'm looking for a video clip right now, number 161. Oh, there it is. All right, I took apart, the signature scene on the layout is this bridge over here, and I'm going to advance this a little bit. I took the entire scene apart. So nothing is glued in place. Everything comes apart, which is good. The 2 85-foot microengineering girders, I think it's about almost 5 feet of track going through there, of microengineering bridge track that's on top of it. This is a BLMA brass bridge. The Central Valley Bridge fits in that spot absolutely perfectly as well. We've done that before. And I'm going to advance through this clip now. And let's just go to the second one, because as you can see, I'm taking everything apart. Even the bridge piers are not glued down. Everything, again. And I think it's simpler that way. Because then I could take all of this over to the, I know you're going to cringe at this, but again, mind you, the bridge is brass. I took it all over to the sink and cleaned it. Because there's no other way than to take a paintbrush and some, not warm water, just semi-warm water, and I don't even use soap, and just clean all the lattice detail, all the interior detail. Literally cleaned the bridge track itself because it was so coated with dust. I cleaned the side girders the same way and reassembled everything, and it came out decent. I'm not going to, all the shelves behind you, I'm not going to show this clip as we're live. Yeah, you could do the white glove test on these shelves. Grab the steel white gloves over there. They are clean. The models have been mostly dusted off with a dry paintbrush and a vacuum cleaner. Everything's been wiped down with wet rags. All the models have been rearranged. The whole layout down here has been restaged so that it's ready for next week's show.
The only thing missing, see, at our home, some cleaning has been done, but the reason the house was cleaned is because it's the time of year that the fall stuff is coming out at the house. So Glenda is starting to put the fall stuff.
Already?
So
No.
you would need to have your little pumpkins and things like that already. It just, don't you get in that fall mode when it's 100 degrees out? You just think of pumpkins. That's
Agreed.
the best way to
Sure.
look at that.
I love it, the way she decorates your place.
Yes.
Okay, next clip. I don't know actually what I'm doing. I know I wrote this down, so let's just hope it works.
Okay.
The wharf scene over there, that is the BTS Hyde Pulp Mill. I did an extensive video in 2017, I think it was March, on how I lit this scene, and I ran it actually 2 weeks ago on What's Neat as the .5 show. But as you saw when I designed this scene in the video, it was designed so that the center part of the scene with all of the BTS structures on it was designed to lift up out of the scene. And the reason for that was it would make it easier to be able to get to the wiring. Plus, these modules, again, are designed to go outside. And when that big scene goes outside, it's got to be turned sideways to go out the door. So all that buildings and stuff that isn't glued down needs to come off, which helps facilitate outdoor photography. But long story short, what's underneath is all of the wires for the lights. And the point of doing this was there was 3 lights. You can see one of them here right in front of us next to the, whatever that is, that big container that holds stuff is broken right off. 3 of the lights were broken, right? They needed to be replaced. Plus, I think I added 6 or 8 more lights to it to light up some dark spots. And the interior building lights. I'm using Woodland Scenic, simple things. Anything would work to hold this up. Once it's held up, it's bulletproof and it's safe. Then once you get inside of it, I'm going to show this clip. I don't have to show it live. Maybe I will, because then you guys can know what I'm talking about. Is the wiring that is all underneath there. Clip number 172. Where's my producer on this? Tell him to speed up things, please. We don't have a production. We don't. Okay, look at all the wire underneath there. Now, here's the deal on this, and I'm going to go and clean this up. And here's the Woodland Scenic light bulbs come with 3 feet of wire on them. All these little lights. So what do you do with all the wire? What I did was I stuffed it up underneath there. Well, now that I've reopened it to start restringing lights and pulling out the old ones, here I'm pulling out the old one that's broken. It's actually broke off. I had to go through there and sort through those wires to figure out what went where. And so what I've thought about, and I didn't do it now because it's got a full 28 lights on it now that are operating. That's good. We'll get to the show. But after the show's over, I'm going to lift this up, go through there and cut all that wire out and shorten it. There's no reason why it can't go straight from the building down to the, what they call as linker plugs, which is a great way to connect these to the light hubs. I know that sounds complicated, but watch the video. It's self-explanatory. The linker plugs move around just fine, so the wires could literally be 5 or 6 or 8 inches long instead of 3 feet long, which would help. You're an electrician, you know where I'm going.
Try to get rid of some of the slack.
This
and
is
just
what
make it a
I
little more
saw
direct,
when
yes.
I went on a cruise to Mexico. I saw this in the power lines. There's very interesting wiring compared to what you see here in the States. This looks, yeah, okay, that's probably something I shouldn't say. Anyway.
Just put it back down, and yes, nobody will see how much wire is there.
So that's that clip. That was 172, 176. Let's see what's coming up next, because I actually don't know. And I also did a segment for What's Neat on this, just being thankful that I designed it so it would lift out. So this is just a reiteration of what I just discussed. Those are the linker plugs. That's all the spaghetti bowl of wire. You can see the light hubs underneath. And on top, as you move up, the 3/4 inch plywood with the buildings on it, which are absolutely gorgeous buildings. I love these buildings.
It's very nice.
Now, this is the Hyde Pulp Mill paper processing plant. I wanted to turn it into restaurants and galleries and art galleries and things like that with umbrella tables. Never got that far on the project.
One question I saw in the video, it says Las Vegas dirt on the container. Is that actually dirt from Las Vegas?
It is correct.
Okay.
There is a certain color of dirt to Las Vegas dirt, and it's a beautiful color. And so this clip looks like, oh, here we go. I'm taking the scene down, and I'm going to fast forward through this clip, and I'll edit it as however. Hey, there's those PS1s running. I love running trains while I work on the layout. Did I mention that? Okay, so it fits right back into place, but I got to tell you, I had this scene up on those little, I know, oops. It was on those bottles, and I think, honest to God, the scene might have warped a little bit sitting on those bottles, because I know that doesn't make sense, but it didn't quite go in perfect the second time around. And it's not due to the wires underneath. I'm not sure what, but it's perfect enough where the rails line up. Everything's good. It looks decent, and I think I'm really happy with all of that. And I think that's my show and tell for today. We showed the clips of Daniel. 180 I've got written, no, 183. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, this is my company. I will say that I love raising Landon. I'm just going to throw this out there. He's been with me every night. I've been working until 6 o'clock in the morning, and he's been with me down here learning how the tools work, watching me wire. It's such a blessing. I just love this amazing new life I have with this relationship that I've been almost with Holly for 3 years.
I see that he loves trucks too, so.
He's awesome. That's everything I've got on my notes.
Very nice.
I don't know how that edit came out. Am I forgetting anything? Yes, I am. All right. The scene that I want to run to continuation of that, building that scene over there with all of the vehicles on it. I just showed clips of it. I got a clip right here. I'll just run a clip. Can I just pick one out of the computer to illustrate what I'm talking about? Editing. Here. Perfect. Via. Okay, so here's the Via train, and I think it's going to run through that scene. Yes, it is. Okay, so I want to light this scene. Now that I've been talking about lighting, the building, all of that you've seen, hopefully I'm running a different clip that looks better than that. That's a beautiful clip, though. I love that train. Bachmann should be coming out with the tail end car of that train soon. There's one more car that goes on there with sound and lighting in the back. Long story short, I found these lights. This is something I don't know much about, but I'm learning. This is Atlas, brand Atlas lights, okay? There are double heads and single heads. And these also are LED lights. And I did the expose on the Woodland Scenics, and I went into the detail of the voltage on those lightings and what the light hubs put out for voltage. Well, I'm starting to do the same thing with these lights from Atlas. These two little batteries here, 1.5 volts each, create 3 volts, which lights up this bulb perfectly. I don't have a cameraman, but just believe me, the bulb is lit up, see? And this has been lit now for 3 days. The batteries aren't dead yet. And I put this on that scene over there so I could quantify in my mind how much light these would put out onto the scene, because these are the kind of lights that cast the light down. You don't see it. It's indirect. When you're looking at it on the layout, you don't see it. You only see it's cast, okay? So it's important to know how much it would light. And I'm so far very happy with it. Now, what I'm going to do, they came with, inside of the package are resistors, so that you could probably put more current on it. I'm going to go on Atlas's website and see if there's any written documentation, because the packages themselves don't come with anything that's got numbers on them, so I can understand voltages and things like that. I can look at the stripes on the resistor and understand what the resistance is, which is simple, or just put it on a voltage tester and find that out. But I think these lights are going to be magnificent over there because they're semi-modern. And by the time you throw in Neil Maltz's vehicle that lights up, and maybe one of the generator lights to light things up, and you put some lights on the building and light the interior of the building, I think that'll be a neat little scene over there when you walk into that part of the area.
Oh, it'll be very nice with it.
That has documentation in it. I didn't open it up.
See, I opened it up to see it.
Look.
Here we go.
We have live on the show. What does it say? Okay. Power supply, 6 to 18 volts. All my answers were here the whole time.
Well, see.
Well, this is the best show ever.
That's it.
You can use the Atlas switch machine connectors thingies to turn them on and off. That's ingenious. So 6 to 18 volts. That's a big variation for a power supply. I'll have to read this. Yes.
We don't need the
No,
instructions.
no,
we
we
don't
do.
need the instructions.
No, we
here.
do. This is good. I wanna
no,
know
no. We're all guys. We don't need instructions.
Single arm lights include a 1K ohm resistor, half-watt resistor, which will allow operation from 6 to 18 volts. From 6 to 18 will be constant voltage. I want to know that. The 2 light arm head comes with a 480 ohm, 1/2 watt resistor. All right, we have all the answers. But this just made the best show ever for me.
I found the book.
I
That's
can't
it.
wait. I cannot wait to figure out placement. This is going to be fun. I love to turn off the lights in a room and watch trains run through that wharf over there. It's just it adds such a dimension to a layout. Mm-hmm. I could go on and on, but I probably shouldn't. Are we forgetting anything?
Maybe that nice hat you were wearing. I saw in one of the videos.
I wore this to Landon's baseball game today. It's the most comfortable hats ever from Denny so far, and these are the ones we're handing out at the show, and I love them. They're soft.
It's a very nice hat.
I love
yes.
these hats. So rock and roll, we got hats to hand out at the RPM meet. This is going to be a great week. 2 days of interviews for us. So that's Saturday and Friday interviews at the show, and then Saturday night we'll shoot the show here like we do with all the microphones and all the podcast guests, as we have probably 70 people running around enjoying the Garden Railroad that will be running on battery power. There's no time to solder it.
As long as it's running, that's going to be the important part.
Best hobby in the world with some of the best people in it sitting right around me here. Be to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notifications of when
Hit
this
that
podcast
like.
comes out. Last week's show came out Sunday morning. How about that? As soon as
that
we
out.
shot
I was
the
impressed.
show, I was on it, so I wouldn't have to do it Monday. This one's going to come out a little bit slower because I think I want to shoot these boxcars and freight cars outside on Sunday. So I got a feeling this one's not going to come out until Sunday night, maybe. Monday. I'm in a day schedule. I have to be for the show. So it's all going to get done. We have 3 more days to get everything done.
Yes.
Right.
You'll get it done. No
Okay,
problem.
guys. With that said, let's go run some trains. We don't have a train running.
No.
We're going to run some trains. NCE, the power of DCC. The reason we use it, because it works. And we're going to run some trains. Yes. Okay, thumbnail. Where do you start with all these great models?
I'm grabbing this one.
Okay, that's neat.
No.
It even says it on it. I don't need
Says-
show notes when I look at this car because it's got it on the backside. It's a cheat sheet all the way around. Okay, okay. I love these boxcars. I love the ones with the black roof. Okay, I'm holding them. I'm holding something.
I'm going to hold the instructions.
Yeah, open it
Yes,
up.
I think.
That was brilliant. I never thought to open this up. We
Yes.
should point that out to everybody. Okay, ready, set, and. Okay, we got it. Oh my gosh, that's so great that you opened it up.
I just figured,
Because
well,
I
let's,
didn't know the answers, and now I know them.
let's see what it is.
Oh, I'm going to
See what it
start
has say.
drilling holes. I'm going to start drilling holes like right now. Oh, I'm just going to slap a power supply on this immediately and see what the difference
Yes.
is between 6 and 18. They got to be constant. I promise you these are current. Current that's constant. It'll be the same amount of light. All right, rock and roll.
Can't wait to see it.
I know, let camera 1 roll for 45 seconds as we roll credits. Who am I talking to? This place is clean. It's amazing.
It is very clean. It looked like there's going to be a large gathering of people here shortly. Yes.
There's room. Mm-hmm. I know, right? Okay, let's do it. That was fun having the little video clips live.
Yeah, I think it worked
That
out.
was neat. This is very heavy track.